Sora's parents are characters you are not meant to like. They are fiercely loyal to Beatrix in particular, and have even essentially sold out Sora in favour of the Empress, and honestly, it's one of the more scummy moves we've ever seen within Ninjago. But that is how the characters are portrayed. That is how we're meant to perceive them when we watch them. We're not meant to look at our parents and feel sympathy towards them, feel any sort of emotional reaction to them apart from annoyance and frustration as to their treatment of Sora. But the thing is that we have actually had an interesting development with them as of recent time. Because outside of flashbacks, they have not actually been seen depicted since the first season of the show. But with Season 4 Part 1 releasing, we now actually have confirmation that Sora's parents were loyalists to Beatrix throughout the season, aka being the villain's army of the season, and also at the end of the season arriving at the monastery of Spinjitzu for an unspecified purpose. But that is going to be what we discuss today. We are going to go through the things that Sora's parents have actually done over the course of Ninjago, talk about their true standings, how they truly feel about Sora, and where they might be going moving forth. I do think it's a fairly interesting one, and I'm very curious to know what you guys think. So, let me not waste any more of your time, and let's talk about what plan Sora's parents actually have. But to understand where Sora's parents are going to be going from here onwards, we need to actually understand where they've been before now. I will say for one, it's really funny that they're not actually named. But besides all of that, anyways, we have had a lot of Sora's parents' background through the lens of Sora herself. Mainly being the fact that we know that in Sora's childhood, she was often neglected by her parents, and they didn't actually ever pay attention to her until they actually had some form of value to the Empress. Sora had a job within the Advanced Systems lab where she was instructed to make photaks for the Claws of Imperium to capture more dragons. But after Sora did reject that and actually decided she didn't want to, her parents were not happy. Instead of looking at Sora taking a moral stance, they essentially looked at her as a failure and they went back to neglection. Getting back to the point where not only was Sora simply just not allowed to do anything beyond the space of their home, she wasn't even allowed to do the hobby she enjoyed anymore. By all accounts, they just seemingly didn't really like Sora and put all the blame onto her in any sort of instance. They have always been completely loyal to the Empress. It has never been a case of thinking about their daughter, it has been a case of thinking of Imperium as a whole. And honestly, just in a very selfish way as well. Because once Sora actually had enough of it and ran away after the event of the merge, Sora's parents didn't view it as her getting away from them or Sora trying to save herself. They viewed it as Sora abandoning them, and she was in the wrong for it. This brings us through to the event of the first season, and even though it's the season they appear in the most, we also don't get too much of them at the exact same time. We mainly see them within the second part of season 1. We see them in the Temple of the Dragon Cause episode, where they watch Beatrix's speech. We see them in We Are All Dragons, where they watch Sora's speech as well, which was a surprise to them, but we don't actually get to see some form of interaction until the Power Within. Sora's parents are seen running amongst all of the chaos that Beatrix started, and they eventually do find themselves encountering Sora, where they actually just simply state that Sora should go along with them and just run away and just find some form of cover. Sora points out the fact that Beatrix is very clearly evil, the cause of it, and she needs to do her best to help out, and her parents angrily refuse this and try to claim that the videos and everything that Beatrix is doing is simply fake. Their belief that Beatrix would never do it still completely overpowered any sort of belief they had towards Sora. This culminates in the moment where Sora actually declares that she has her own family now. She doesn't need them and she abandons them there and then in favour of who she now is. This actually unlocks her true potential and her elemental power, which comes at the shock to her parents not realising the potential that she truly did have. But we don't actually see any more interactions between the two of them after that point in time. Later in the episode, or towards the end of the episode, we do see them looking at a photo of Sora as a kid, and you can actually see them looking sad about it. Interestingly, seeing that they do have some sort of feelings towards Sora, but they definitely don't display it, and it might even just be because they don't have access to her anymore. But that was the last time we saw them for a while. But it definitely does paint this image of Sora didn't overly matter to them. They felt like they had ownership over Sora, they felt like they knew what was best, and they were just simply loyal to the Empress, which of course is very much a big point in Season 4. Because come Season 4, they now are actually a part of the Loyalists. They are a part of this new regime of people who are completely loyal to the Empress and are attempting to reclaim the former kingdom using the Weapon of Desolation. It is unsure when they do join the Loyalists, and we actually also don't know when they were and where they were throughout the course of the season. It seems to be that they were some sort of sleeper agent within the city, but it's not actually confirmed. But the point is that again, they're displaying their loyalty to Beatrix regardless of any sort of evidence, and also not attempting to have any sort of communication with Sora. But of course, at the end of Season 4, when Beatrix is defeated once more, the Loyalists are all arrested or going into hiding, we actually get to see Sora's parents take off their disguise and go amongst the crowds of Imperium, blending in so they essentially do not get caught. After this, and one of the final scenes of the season, we see them arrive at the monastery of Spinjitzu to Sora's surprise. They have smiles on their face, they're very happy to see her, they're waving, they're feeling really nice and great, and that is the last time we officially got to see them until the current time of making this video. All of this just simply paints a story of two people who do not care for their child unless they have some sort of benefit or they can control her. This is just two people who shouldn't have had a kid to begin with. These are two people that just really do not care about anything apart from this Empress who has completely manipulated them. But that's the interesting point, and that is what brings me into today's theory. The whole concept of what are they doing at the monastery of Spinjitzu if they were fiercely loyal to Beatrix and didn't have any communication with their own daughter. What is the intention behind what they're doing here? Why are they now trying to actually act like a family? And there are many solutions that do come from this, some being more and some being less likely. But I do have my own few opinions that could be the case going forth. To play devil's advocate, it could be an actual chance at redemption for her parents going forth within the show. I personally do not want this to be the case because I don't think they're redeemable characters. I don't think they're characters that were set up to have a redeeming nature. If they were, they wouldn't have been loyalists. But, of course, it could always be a chance that they are true of heart, true of intention, and truly want to get along with their daughter once more. But I, for one, really don't believe that, and really hope it doesn't happen. My second theory as to what could be happening going forth could be the case of they've gone there with bad intentions and as a means to maybe split up the ninja or take Sora away from the ninja team. We could see them moving forth, basically dripping poison in her ear, talking about how the ninja don't need them, or the ninja don't actually like her, or the fact that the ninja don't function well as a team together, and even doing it to the ninja, maybe igniting some sort of turmoil within the ninja team, basically just causing destruction in their own wake as a means to get back at them for what happened with Beatrix, and also to get Sora away from them so they could be the happy family within Imperium once more. By the way, you couldn't see it, but I did quotations under the happy family. This would make sense and would definitely lean into the control angle that they've had throughout the course of the show. Like I said, they've always had a very controlling nature about them and have always felt entitled when it does come to Sora. They've only ever viewed Sora as someone who is deserving of attention when she's actually earned it. Someone who should only actually have the things that they want when the parents are actually pleased. All of these little things that could definitely lean into Season 4, and I would actually be very interested in seeing it. But in my opinion, it's not the most likely theory of the bunch. In my opinion, the most likely theory going forward as to what's going to be happening with Sora's parents is going to be that they've gone in as an attempt to infiltrate and get essentially the Weapon of Desolation. I believe that they've gone in under the guise of being Sora's loving parents once more and wanting to repair things. In reality, I think they've gone in after the Weapon of Desolation to secure it for Beatrix and Laro so they can reignite the Loyalists and the good Empress once more. I believe they've gone in with every single intention to essentially act like a friend and act like the parents when in reality they are going to do nothing but betray. I actually think this is going to be the most likely course, and I think it's going to intertwine with Aaron's parents as well, because Aaron's parents have set up this concept of a ninja parents get together type group, and I think they will be suspicious of Sora's parents, all things considered, and it will be how things are actually exposed gone in the future. I think it is definitely the most likely scenario, because I do not believe for 1 second Sora's parents are no longer loyal to Beatrix and wouldn't do anything and everything possible, even taking advantage of their own daughter, to be able to achieve the goal that they ultimately want, which is the good Empress back on her throne within Imperium. And this is most clearly the route that they believe is the best way to go about it. And I don't think they would even care if they're hurting Sora within the process, because like I said, it's been shown many times that they really do not care about Sora. So that is why I believe that this is the most likely theory of the lot. I think it will be a very interesting storyline, and I do hope they go forth with it, because I do think it will be the one that leads to the more interesting scenes, conflicts, dynamics. I think it will really do the best for the next part of Ninjago. But of course, that ultimately depends on what the writers do, as long as they don't redeem her. But those are my theories as to what could be happening with Sora's parents moving forth. I would love to know which of these you think most likely to be the case, and also if you have any theories of your own. I would love to know what you think is going to happen with these characters moving forth, because I really do think there's a lot of good potential for storytelling here. I think they are just really inherently bad people that are definitely wrote correctly, because that is exactly what they need to do, and they most definitely excel at it. Hopefully they just carry on with the pace that they have got going. But besides from all of that, thank you very much for watching this video, and I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. I love discussing Ninjago with more people, and if you do want to support the channel any further, which you do not have to, you could always become a channel member and join the legends that you do see on screen. Each of you, your support means the absolute world to me, and honestly, I cannot thank you enough. But like I said, that is about it for today, and take care. Okay,